Welcome to the Beauty Blend podcast, where we delve deep into the world of beauty from the inside out. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're really excited to have you guys here today. We have a little life update, a couple life updates.
A few things have been happening.
All right, she's going to go first. She's got, I think you can see them if you're looking.
Now, do you know? I don't know if it made a difference. Honestly, I don't even think it's that noticeable. But if you're watching on the YouTube, I got lip filler. And I know that was one of those things I was
talked about it.
Talking about for like years. And then I talked about it on here. So I had to come clean. But just got 1 ml. And it's subtle. And I can see why people do more. Because after the swelling went down, I was like, ooh, these kind of look like my lips. But you made sure to tell me no.
I'm her moral support on this.
She made sure to go overboard.
More and more.
No, I'm happy with where they're at.
If you would have seen her when they first were done,
they were pretty swollen.
That's why you would have kept telling her you don't need more, because they're.
Yeah, but then when they go down, you're like, they look like your own lips. And you're like, why did I spend all this money for my own lips?
You think they look like your own lips.
Yeah, after the swelling.
But they're not.
They're not.
They're not people in the crowd.
I know.
But they look good. They look natural.
Yeah.
How much you had done was good.
And then I influenced you, I think.
So
you did what I did.
So now I got a lip flip.
Explain to the audience what a lip flip is.
I think you can explain better, but it's basically just talks to the lip muscles. So it helps kind of bring, if you have like a gummy smile, so like if your lip disappears when you smile, it helps bring it out. And I just got it done a couple of days ago, and I am loving it already. Yeah. Hasn't even fully kicked in, but.
She still doesn't know how to talk right yet.
I know, I'm still like probably drooling a little.
Oh my God.
No, but it looks good. It feels good. It feels natural. And I have pretty big lips to begin with, so it kind of brings it out that top lip. So I think it'll hold me off for a while, hopefully.
Let's do that for a few years.
We'll see. And it was so quick. Added on to your tox appointment. It literally took 2 seconds. So.
And it's not going into your actual lip. It's literally just the muscle right above it. So it's not as painful.
It is weird though, like sucking through a straw.
Yeah.
Like just smiling feels different. I keep like touching my lip.
Yeah, I will say the lip filler wasn't fun.
Well, I kept thinking about the whole time I've been going through this and changing. I'm like, I don't know how I would ever do the lip filler.
Oh, I was sweating. They gave me ice packs. They had to lay me down.
Yeah.
It probably took another 10 minutes because they were like trying to make sure I didn't pass out.
I'm not committed to it
I was one of those people.
And just the whole, like, after being swollen. Like, I feel like I'm swollen, but I'm not. But I feel like it. I can't imagine how you feel after a lip filler.
Yeah. It feels just over. Like, I couldn't even move my mouth, it felt like at first. But I'm sure as you get it done more, it probably isn't as annoying.
Yeah.
But
we have one other big life update.
Oh.
Go ahead.
We're roomies together.
We're officially roomies. And it is something.
We bought a duplex.
We did buy a duplex, and so we're living.
Were we smart enough to do one live in the other? Like separate corridors?
Can we laugh about this?
But no, we decided to cram ourselves into one side. We're committed to saving money.
We need to save the money. It's an investment. But everybody who hears, like, we buy a duplex and we tell them, they're like, that's awesome. Like, so she's on one side, you're on the other. We're like,
We're together.
We're together with our dogs.
Yeah.
Just crammed in there. But we're loving it.
We like to have the mortgage paid for by the other side, or at least partly, So that helps.
It's a good financial decision.
I know.
That we keep telling ourselves.
I know people are stressed about the economy right now, too. So.
Oh, yeah. It's expensive.
Kind of helps with that.
Living is expensive. So we're roomies, so all of our giggle fits hopefully will subside. Question mark? Anyway, on that note, since we started talking about like financial and just like goals of ours and whatnot, it's actually going to lead us into what we wanted to talk about today is kind of like the hustle culture and goals. And
speaking of goals, I just thought about it. Remember how I was telling you the place that we bought looked a lot like what I had envisioned for my next investment?
You had on vision.
And I went and found it. It was like from like 2020 or 2019. I'd written down that I wanted an investment property downtown with the brick interior accent pieces and a yard. The only thing I'm missing, though, is the garage, but it's okay.
We can always build
We're 90% of the way.
If we want.
Yeah, but it happened so fast, too, how it all worked out. But
well, explain that a little bit more. Then you said you wrote it down. What did you write it down on? Like, how did you?
I'm a big white paper and blue ink girl. There's something scientific about that, actually, that it's ingrained into your subconscious better with that combo. But I don't know.
Blue ink.
Yeah.
I've heard that, too.
And I honestly, I'm a visual person, so I will, like, as I'm writing it, like, see it in my third eye or your imagination.
So you just wrote it on a white piece of paper, and you just wrote out, like you were talking about your house, what you want, and you just kind of wrote a vision of what that's going to look like and where it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. And then I put it away and forgot about it for a while. And then when the opportunity presented itself, like you just kind of let it happen. But
that's what's kind of nice about when you write it down and forget about it, is you're not here forcing it. It's like later when you hit that goal, you're like, oh my gosh, I kind of forgot. I wrote this down years ago, and you pull it back out, and you're like, I really did manifest this in a way.
And the funny part, when I wrote it down, I was living in my other investment property. So I was
kind of a couple years.
Oh, yeah. So I was already thinking about my next one, when I do it, what's it going to look like? And I think that's part of why I wasn't, like, it has to happen in, like, tomorrow or 6 months, because I was already invested in a different property. Yeah, it was more of a long-term thing.
Hoping to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a cute little place with the brick that you wanted.
You were like, thanks for manifesting that
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't really manifest a house. I said I wanted a gray house, and ours is gray.
Oh, yeah, it is gray.
Yeah. And then I never really visualized a house yet. I think in my head I wasn't close to getting to that point, so I just didn't even, which isn't a good idea. I could still manifest it. I just wasn't there. And when we bought it, I was like, hey, thanks. Thanks for manifesting this for us. We love it.
The dogs love it, too.
Our dogs are happy. There's stairs.
Her dog does zoomies up and down the stairs. I don't think she's ever been around stairs.
No.
Or at least she acts like she hasn't.
So she's crazy, and she gets her energy out by flying up and down the 3 floors or 2 floors.
What kind of stuff do you do to manifest?
So a big thing I do,
or vision,
I like to write down. I'm a paper pen, but I'm just kind of bad sometimes at like taking the time to sit down and do it. My big thing is at the beginning of the year, every year, or even at the end of last year, I'll do like a vision board. So I like to kind of come up with, and sometimes it doesn't change. Like if I've been doing it, sometimes my long-term goals, like I haven't hit them yet, so I'll keep them on there or maybe readjust and get it. Maybe it's changed a little bit, but I will go through and find like a few short-term goals of mine that I want to hopefully hit within that year. I keep my long-term that may take maybe 5 years or however long. And then I actually try to do like 1 or 2 very, very short-term, like in a couple, like 3 to 6 months, just because for me, I can kind of get distracted easily, I think. And if I can find something like that I'm either actively working towards, like in the moment that I know I'll hit in a few months, it kind of gives me that sense of achievement. And it keeps me, I don't know, focused on my goals.
So what do you use? Like, what do you put all these things on?
Yeah, so I'd get, like, literally a whiteboard, like, that has either, like, a push pin board or, like, a magnetic one with the little cute little magnets. And I'll go through magazines. I know people don't always do that anymore, but I'll grab some old magazines, and I'll find, again, like, I've been doing it for a few years, so a lot of mine are, like, nice cars. And I guess I did a picture of, like, my dream house. Like, that's, for me, when I'm older. Like, when I want to, actually, it's, like, my retirement home is kind of what I have it figured
all the way to retirement.
I did, like where I'm going to settle and end up when I'm not working anymore. Car, I've done dream car. But anyway, I'll go through magazines or like a watch, like a certain watch I want. And then they're not all material. I feel like that's the thing. Some people get caught up on like the material. Sometimes they're just like, I want to be in a happy, healthy, loving relationship. Like I make it more of an emotional one. And I like kind of write down all those things that I like would want in that scenario. But I pin them up based on like category. So I'll do like a material category. I'll do like more of a romance or relationship category. I'll do a career category, and then I'll do a financial category. And so I kind of do it all on the same board, but I kind of organized it in that way. And then a lot of it, like I will still write out, like I'll actually write affirmations on there in the blue pen on a white piece of paper, and I'll pin them up there. And I just kind of make it kind of like people do collages, kind of what my whiteboard, collage. And then I try to I keep it, that's what they always say, is keep it somewhere where you see it all the time, like regularly. So if you hang it up somewhere that you're going to see, like whether it's in your bathroom, your closet, if you're don't want anybody else to see, you can put it in your bedroom if you don't care people see. Hanging it somewhere where you get to see it a lot and remind yourself of why you're up every day, what you're working for.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, how do you do yours usually?
I used to do it similar to yours. I've kind of changed it throughout the years. I think more recently I'm more focused on this vibe or the energy that I'm wanting to call in more than the things. I mean, I put the things on there, but it's more like what kind of energy am I wanting to be in? What does it feel like? Yeah. And it's funny how it's kind of manifested. Like one time I had this, it was supposed to stand for joy, but it was 2 hands making that heart shape and the sun. So cheesy. Oh. And then I went to Egypt and our tour guide had me take a picture like that with the sunrise. And I was like, whoa, that was really weird. Yeah. Just things like that. But
I realized that. That's cool.
I do try to make it more shorter term now. just because, like you said, with the focus thing,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like to make mine within like a year usually.
Yeah.
It's like what are my goals. But I stick with like I'll find pictures actually online and I print it. Not like I have this it's actually like a collage thing that you can do online where it, like you can download the pictures and it makes the collage online and then you can just print it out.
Oh, nice. So it's not like a big poster.
No,
like
it's just
8.5
like
by
8
11.
by
That's a
11.
good way to do it.
And then I actually do have a whiteboard where I put like my wants for the year and then my needs. So the needs are obviously what I actually need to make sure I'm doing. And then the wants are like those bigger goals outside of the needs per se. Needs are kind of like what I say is like what you just need to live.
Like basic living.
Basic living. Yeah. What do I need
Yeah.
per month that's just like covers all my bases, but what would I actually like to look at and kind of separate it?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
I have switched it up because sometimes, like, again, some people are more private, right? Like, we don't want our goals. Like, someone comes over, you don't want them to see your whole whiteboard.
I know.
They're asking. So I actually, over the years, have kind of changed how I do my whiteboard.
Yeah, I have thought about that too.
It's
It is kind of awkward because it's like your most vulnerable self kind of being put out there.
It is not necessarily. I mean, you can share it. That's no problem. But it's not really for other people to see. And it's like some people may look at it as like kind of braggy or like materialistic, and that's not the intention, at least behind it. So one year, it wasn't this year, but I've made a little brochure, which I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I was at work. At the time I did it, I was literally living at my office pretty much. So I kept it on my office desk and I could see it. And then it kind of kept me motivated during work. But it was a brochure that kind of literally like a trifold.
I want one of those for my wants and needs because I could put.
You would love it for that's what made me think of it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that when I get home.
Organize it. Super easy to do.
It's time for me to update anyway. It's
me
new
too.
year, so let's see what we already manifested from last year. That's always fun to take down like the stuff that actually came to fruition.
Yeah, because again, when you start losing track and you go back to look at it again, you're like, oh wow, like the house thing. You're like, oh my gosh, this is what I wanted. I already did this.
Yeah.
Or, I remember the very first year I did, got into doing like a dream board. It was a more short term, like I think it was like a 3-month or 3 to 6 month goal I had. And when I actually hit it, I remember like, I think I wrote it on like a note card. I literally pulled off the note card and like, it was just so fun to like take it off the board and like hit it. Like, I just remember being really proud. Like, wow, I would have never.
Easier than you thought it would be.
Yeah. And I don't think I would have like, when you have all these goals and then you hit it and you kind of forget that was like something you were working towards because now it was just like natural. I felt like it was one of those moments that was like, wait, this is like literally what I've been working for this whole time. And I don't think I would have appreciated my work in it had I not had it written down and me to go look at it and take it off the board.
Right, yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I think I think doing that, it's not just like, oh, this is nice
to
look
at me. Yeah.
But it's more because if you see it, you're like, it's putting in your subconscious that you'll start taking those action steps toward it. Like you don't really, it just starts ingraining it. Yeah. So you start doing the things that are aligned to that, basically.
And you like kind of like praise yourself. Yeah. Like, good job. I did all this and I made it. So yeah. And the other thing I was going to say about the brochure is I think what gave me the brochure idea is people sometimes do a book. So instead of, again, a whiteboard where you don't
I used to do a book a long time ago.
You can do a book.
But I was just bad at looking at it.
I would say, for me personally, the book wouldn't work. But I know people who do it and they like it. And you can kind of hide it and tuck it away or, whatever. So just ideas.
If you live on your own like me, put it on your mirror, put it on
Yeah, affirmations on the mirror.
I used to do that all the time.
I guess we could do it again now that we're roomies.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I took it down too for a while.
Well, and that really worked when I saw it every day.
Yeah, because you can brush your teeth and like see it. And
what about the things though that you have on there that you haven't manifested yet? Do you get frustrated or like what do you want to tell the people about that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So I do, and that like unlike her, I put pretty long term, and I probably shouldn't, but to me, I think I know they're very long term. I don't put a ton of those. It's like 1 or 2, just to give me, I think, to keep the vision going for me. And I'm pretty future oriented, like thinking, which isn't always great, but there have been times where I'm like, oh man, okay, like when I first started doing it, everything goes back to the weight thing, but I was like, I'll lose so-and-so pounds. And when that time came where I was supposed to like lose it by whatever date I set the standard to, I was like kind of defeated in myself because I'm like, why would you set this? Then I was kind of mad that I even had to do the dream boards instead. I don't know. I was kind of mad. But nowadays, now that I've kind of done this, I just realized that either my vision wasn't clear.
Right.
Because that can definitely be the case. Or that maybe I'm not aligned as well with the vision like I thought I was. Like maybe it's something I thought I really wanted and was working towards, but actually what my actions were not headed that way, and maybe even my vibrations and all that.
Or like we have a subconscious block to it or something that's keeping us from.
Yes. And then the other thing, just as cheesy as it sounds, is like it may just not meant to be.
Or the right time.
Or the right timing.
Like our egos can get in the way. We're like, we need it by this time.
Yes.
Like if you put a date on things.
Horrible.
I don't know if that's necessarily the
I don't
best
do that
idea.
anymore. No,
yeah, because I feel like it could be discouraging and you don't really want to continue. You think something's wrong with me. You start to spiral. Yes.
And then you don't want to set a goal because you're like, I'm not going to hit it anyway. So what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah. And then, I just feel like, there's some things that's like what you want may not always be what you need, or at least in that timing isn't the timing for it. So again, now that I've been doing it for a while and I have a better understanding about things like that, I don't feel like I get defeated anymore, but I used to, especially at the beginning. So if you haven't done this before and are starting out.
Ooh, do you know what has actually a vision board? I just thought of this because I did it earlier last year. Canva has like a vision board.
Oh, I bet they do because they have,
So I know that's something that people use a lot.
And you can get Canva for free unless you want to do the pro version. But that's a good idea. Yeah. They have everything.
I know.
That's like our lifeline, especially in business. But that's a good idea because it can help you organize it. To me, it helped picking categories. I don't know if you kind of do something like that, but I do like the career, the finance. If you're someone who's like, even if you're in a relationship, just kind of what do you want your relationship to look and feel like on, every day. I think it's good to have like visuals that represent, that kind of vibration like you did with the heart and all that.
Right.
And if you want to do like a finance, sometimes like finance and career people say are kind of the same. So it just depends. Or some people just do like a fun category, like things I want, like travel. You can do a travel category.
That was what was funny about the heart thing. I had actually a passport and an airplane right next to the. Oh, wow. I know, and it happened to be in Egypt internationally. Wow. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very aligned with that.
It was, and I didn't even know when I put it there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if we're tapping into it sounds very spiritual, but future self when we're doing that.
I could see
the
that.
Energy of that.
If you're in the right mindset when you're creating it.
Yeah.
So how have you
Before
felt?
we go down this timeline.
Before we scare everybody. Yeah. How have you handling, like, if you don't hit your goal, or do you feel like you're hitting them a lot now, or has that changed?
It was the money thing I used to get really specific about, and I would get in my head like I'm doing something wrong. And sometimes I do think it's more like, it sounds cheesy again, like the journey of getting to that more so than just like, I'm going to do it by this date. And if I don't,
money.
That one used to get to me. So now instead of an exact, I'll put it in my like what I need. It's like,
that's great.
I need this.
For living expenses.
And then it'd be great, but my wants are this, and not getting caught up in the want so much, but still putting it out there. You know what that I mean? So I'm definitely going to hit the need, but
need it.
I need it.
We'll be there.
But the want part is, I kind of do, I think that takes some of the pressure off of those bigger goals. But instead I just put like money and stacks of money on my dream board and keep it at that.
That can be infinite. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Why put a limit?
Why put a limit? Because who knows? So that's where I used to get frustrated more than anything, I think, was that one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that. So I know we kind of said this, but when you say someone's like, you're not aligned, will you explain that to people? Like maybe you're not aligned with your goal? Could that be?
Well, because I think our ego can get in the way. Like, again, that's another reason why the money thing, I try to do it a little differently now, because I think our ego can take over to what our heart actually wants. And am I doing this because I feel like I need to be doing it, or I actually, it's like heartfelt and I want this? Is it aligned with my soul and what my soul wants to experience?
Yeah, that's a good.
So that's
good. No, it's a good description. And then like we kind of touched on, like sometimes we're blocking it. Like sometimes there's subconscious blocks when you're not able to identify that consciously, obviously, but there could be some subconscious things you need to.
Oh yeah, we've done some like work. Haven't we done tapping and things like that to our energy boards before?
Oh yeah.
Or I just called it an energy board. That's funny.
So I was going to touch on that.
Oh my gosh, it is an energy board. I'm going to start calling it an energy board.
Because that's what it is. This is the energy we're putting out.
Yeah.
So I meant to say that when you asked what I do with my board. So after I've put my board or whatever it is, my brochure together.
I don't know why that makes me laugh.
Energy board? No,
the brochure.
Oh, the brochure? Like a travel brochure with all my things. I will have so we, us two, and then our dad, we all do kind of the energy healing. So sometimes I'll bring it to my dad and I'm like, let's get me cleared or aligned to my board. And we're able to kind of test and see what am I currently aligned to and what is not aligned, and kind of work on those blocks, and then make sure at the end of it, the full board is all in alignment. And we kind of wrap it up by envisioning like infinity sign over the board and picturing that, because It's a good energy thing to bring to it. So if you're somebody who's into doing that, it's good to kind of get yourself aligned energetically with your board, or maybe there's a part of your board, like we just said, that's actually not really in alignment with you. Maybe you need to change it a little bit, or change the wording, or change the picture a little bit. Doing kind of more of an energy tap into that, or like a tapping technique, or
tapping is like what we did that one episode where we
we did
through the acupressure points.
Yes, so check that out again, or you can Google like a tapping sequence. They're pretty easy. That's a good
especially when
point.
you're starting to get frustrated about certain things.
Yes.
Like, even though I feel like about this, I fully, truly love and accept myself.
There you go. Yeah, just tap just
away.
like that. Yeah,
I did it the other day about something. I don't even remember what it was for.
Yeah, and this is kind of a quick change topic to the tapping, but when people start doing it, don't get caught up on like your pattern. Like, I know
the sequence.
Yeah, the sequence, because even Brittany, I remember when she started doing it, she's like, I just tap where it makes sense. Like, just tap. It doesn't matter.
To this day, it's like wherever I intuitively. Like, if you're not, I'll move it around, and I don't go in a specific pattern. I just tap.
Just tap. You're not. I
can usually feel tension in my temples.
I'll say sometimes you can feel it. It's going to feel like a little tender tension wherever you go. So don't be afraid to just start tapping away around your face or on your. You can just do it on your hand. It doesn't matter. So don't get caught up in that if you're wanting to align yourself a little bit.
For sure.
It's your intention. That's all that matters.
Right.
But I want to talk about the hustle culture that goes into this. I want to talk
about rewarding ourselves.
Oh, okay. Let's go into rewarding.
Yeah, because we were just talking about how we get caught up in.
Oh, yeah.
Or not caught up, but just sometimes we feel discouraged. But for business at least, we create small goals, medium goals, and large goals for the quarter. We revisit them. And it was kind of fun this last time. We did more than we thought we did.
Yeah. So since it was Q1 semi-recently, we went back and checked after the end of the last year. And it was kind of cool because, again, you kind of get not defeated, but you're like, you feel like you get, I always say I'm like a hamster on a wheel. We're just doing the same thing over and over again. And are we going anywhere? It never feels like it. But we got to go back and look at our old goals we made and kind of check on them. Yeah. And we're like, oh, wow, we did that. We did that. We did that.
Yeah,
we did that.
Didn't really realize that.
Because we kind of joked, I think, when we started. We're like, oh, we'll just use the same goals for this year.
And then we were like, oh, we need different ones because we did some of these.
Like, at least half of them we hit. And, And
did we do our rewards? Like, I don't know if we did a champagne party, and we didn't even do that.
We need to do a champagne
We'll do it when we get out here. But that was one of our smaller goals.
Yeah. So then that's the thing. We were saying rewards. So when we set small, medium, large goals, then we set small, medium, and large rewards.
Lip filler is supposed to be a large one for me, but I kind of jumped the gun on that. I was like, I'm just going to act like it's already happened.
Looking back, we did hit a large. So you deserved it.
Sometimes you can celebrate beforehand. Like, it's already happened.
There you go. I'm so bad about rewarding myself, I feel like, though, because I do get caught up in the fact, like, oh, I'm not working. Like, I don't know. I never feel like I work hard enough. So I'm like, I forget to reward.
That's the hustle culture in your mind.
I know.
Right there. Stop saying that.
Well, I'm saying that's what I get into. So the reward thing is nice because it forces you to kind of look back and be like, okay, wait, I hit this goal. What did I say I wanted if I hit the goal? So champagne party was one of ours. Yeah. And I like that idea. Yeah. Just setting them. So that's a good technique for it. I don't know.
It helps you not get discouraged and something to look forward to.
For sure. And not get caught up in the whole hustle culture of,
am
I doing enough?
Go ahead with the hustle culture.
Well, just, I'm sure you guys, even us talking about goals, I'm sure when we first said, let's talk about hitting our goals.
It might be triggering.
You probably rolled your eyes.
Yeah.
I would have rolled my eyes. Yeah. I've heard other podcasters and they talk about their goals and you're like,
Getting up at 3 a.m.
They get up at 3 a.m.
Okay.
Call me when that really happened.
No, but even if you do, like,
that's fine. Do it. But also, that's not the only way to be successful.
Yeah. I think that's sustainable for everyone.
Exactly. So I think we're not, if you wake up at 3 a.m., we still love you.
Yeah.
We're jealous a little bit that you can do it, but also it's not the only way to be successful. Some people who get up at 10 a.m., stay up later and they can get stuff done.
Some people get up at noon make more money than God.
So I think hearing that all the time can be so exhausting because then it's back to that whole you never feel like what you're doing is enough because look at him next door to me is doing 3 a.m. I'm only up at 5 a.m. No wonder he makes more money. And that just is
I like
such
how
a vicious
said
cycle.
He, though.
Oh.
I think there's a little bit to that.
That is interesting.
I do think men are wired differently. Like they have testosterone, they wake up, they're ready to go. Mm-hmm. And they have that coursing through their veins. You know what I mean?
Got more of the hustle
that gives them more energy, more hustle. They're kind of built for that.
Women, though.
Women aren't necessarily built for that.
Yeah.
And it's okay. If you out there doing it and it feels good to you, more power to you. But I will speak from my own experience when I was living in that because I thought that's the only way to survive. And I thought that's literally how, if at the end of the day, that's how I need to operate to survive. I ended up crashing so hard, crash and burn so hard. After my best year financially, most successful year, I laid on my couch for 6 months and couldn't get up. basically. Because it
took it out of you.
It took it out of me. So I finally was like, okay, I need to reevaluate what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I realized as a woman, you just kind of have to be more in tune to receiving and like allowing things to flow. And like when I get a hit of inspiration, I'll act on it. So, I'm going to sit and be, quote, lazy. I think women get that label all the time. It's really annoying. But
it is.
I've learned that I can make just as much money, if not more, by just kind of paying attention to my body and like my intuition. When do I feel inspired to do this? And I'm not going to force something to happen because I feel programmed to just.
Everybody else is telling us we have to get moving.
I used to work 7 days a week, get up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, and not stop till midnight and do it all over again for years. Exhausting. I didn't even realize it until that happened. My body was like, no, we're done here.
And that's the thing, your body, it catches up to you.
Eventually it will.
2 years, 5 years,
might even make
50
yourself
years,
sick. I don't know.
You will literally get sick.
Could manifest in different ways, probably. But
I mean, disease. You're like, no, you're not relaxing. Your body's literally going to break down. So listen to your body, especially like, I mean, men too, if you're feeling that way, don't just because we're just saying only women, like slow down.
Yeah, if you feel. I'm giving more permission, I guess, for women to relax if they feel
and technically, like scientifically, women are not supposed to be hustling quite as much as these men. We're not programmed, like you said, the same way.
No.
And our bodies need a little bit more time. We have a lot more going on.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with a lot more on a daily basis. That it makes it harder for us to get through as long of a day and hustle as long as they are. So, and we have different cycles. And so one week we may be killing it and the next we need to slow down a little bit. And
there's people that actually go by. I used to do this cycle track.
Yeah.
So like certain weeks you just relax. I'm not against it. I did do that for a little bit, but I realized I'm more of the type that, and this can go back to human design, to be honest, which is a whole nother topic. If you're familiar with human design, you'll catch this. But I'm a manifestor in human design, and it's suggested that we just go based off our spurts of energy. We'll have spurts, and then we'll stop. Spurt, stop. And that's kind of, I've noticed, it doesn't necessarily matter exactly where I'm at in my cycle, but I just honor when I do feel inspired. Yeah.
Yeah. I've started to do that. I feel like I started to honor when I'm getting that spurt, and then when my body is telling me to slow down, I will just slow down.
Yeah.
But it's taking me, like, I'm kind of at the beginning stages.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like you haven't quite figured it out yet.
No, I would not say I
because I can kind of feel the pressure cooker coming from you sometimes when I'm just like, chill.
It's harder. Yeah, it's hard. Sometimes I got a lot of pressure, people behind me telling me things to do. I got to get done.
I mean, you're that person makes for me, hard. But I don't necessarily listen.
No, but I mean, I have 2 people, like, I got a lot that people expect from me on the daily. And if I don't get it done, that can be hard. And I'm sure some people can relate to that in whatever job title they have of like, if you don't do it right now, everyone behind you can't get anything done. So that can be a lot of pressure when you are being told you need to, like, you want to slow down, but everybody behind you is like, I need this done right this second.
Maybe we need to figure out a way to delegate then.
Right. So that's, I think, what I've tried to learn how to, like, one, give up some of my tasks or learn, because sometimes I get in the habit of feeling like if someone told me I need to do it, I'm like, I need to do it right now. So instead, I'm like, I just write everything down. Like, if someone says, I need this done, I'll, like, put it down on my phone, and I think I'm just able to now know what needs done immediately or what can be done in a day or two or, sometime next week, or how urgent is it needed, So it's hard. I've definitely gotten a lot better at it, but I'm not anywhere.
Delegating, I think, is the hardest thing, even for successful people.
Super hard. Because then, especially, like, I'll just use business ownership. Like, a lot of things I've been there from ground up, right? So I know how to do a lot. And it's almost more difficult to teach someone else where I can just get it done real quick.
No, we had something the other day where we were working on leads and we tried to delegate that. Yes. And then we ended up having to take it back.
Yes.
Not because we wanted to, but it just didn't work out.
This didn't work out. And it's disappointing because you're like, I was finally ready to give it up, and I did. I got rid of that kind of control of it, and then it gets something back. Yeah. So I think that's what's hard. Like, if you have a responsibility where delegating is just very difficult, just learning how to break up the task, or, like, really figure out prioritizing when does that really need to be done, or who's behind you saying it needs done immediately, and does it matter?
Right.
It doesn't always matter. So that can be hard. It takes time to learn it and let it go. And I know some people don't have, like, other people they can delegate to. So that I'm sure that's overwhelming for some. Like,
but there's different programs out there that you can do it for relatively small amount. If it's the financial thing, if that's what you're referring to,
and put it on your dream board, and maybe something will come to you.
You never know. Sense. I would always say the universe brings you. It could be something out of your awareness. That's what I like about dream boards, because you can put this thing, but then the universe could bring you something that's even better if you kind of leave the doors open.
Yeah. And I also kind of go back to, like, okay, so when I'm in that mode of, like, get everything done, a lot of what we're trying to do is bring clients into our clinic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they start to feel that chaotic energy. So I have to like really bring myself back in, because who's going to come here when they come to see me and I'm all over the place? I have to really center myself back down. And if I'm too chaotic, then it's my business isn't going to thrive either.
That reminds me actually of, speaking of like the whole hustle and desperate energy.
Yeah.
So, and I was in real estate for years before I came to this side of the beauty industry. Yeah. And they used to call it commission breath. So when you were so desperate to close a deal, they said people could sense, like clients could sense that from you.
Yes.
You're literally,
you're pushing.
You're like in desperate energy. It's kind of, they can pick up on that.
You could have probably the same wording of a conversation, but based on your energy that day, two total different outcomes to it. So
I feel like that sometimes with like car salesmen too.
Totally.
Like, oh, they were.
I mean, think about places you've walked in where you wanted to buy something and you will leave if you didn't like that person you talked to.
100%.
I do it.
Or I feel uncomfy.
Yes. So like, I think about that in my own business. If I'm in a weird mood or a weird place because I'm feeling overwhelmed, I could know everybody's picking up on that. So I have to like. So I feel like that's what's really forced me to kind of bring it back in. And not only will I break down eventually, but I'm like, I want to be successful and I want people to enjoy coming to us, and I don't want them to feel my stress. That's not the point of our clinic. We want everyone to feel calm and relaxed. And we promote that, and I'm like, I should be what I'm promoting.
Yeah.
So it keeps me humbled. Yeah. It keeps me working on myself. But yeah, so I think the hustle culture is easy to get trapped into, but doing something like writing down your goals is a good way to kind of start. Don't feel like you have to get up early. You have any other like advice for someone who's kind of feeling stuck in that hustle culture?
There's so much I want to say about just being in your if it's a woman though, like being in your feminine energy. I feel like I already kind of touched it. It almost needs to be its whole episode though for the feminine energy.
We'll touch on that.
But I will say our society is very much ran by the patriarchy, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. They've built literally societies, but as women, I think we need to separate ourselves from that.
Feeling like we have to also be in that.
Yeah, that we have to also be in that to be successful, because I do believe that you don't need to be operating in that same manner.
No, I agree with that.
Feel good.
I agree. I think that's a good way to leave it.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys have any questions or anything, you're welcome to message us or reach out. But we appreciate you beauties for listening.
Bye, beauties.
Bye, beauties.
Boxland Media. Think big.